That was horrible. Deep in the recesses of your mind lie one thing.
Dun,
Guess
dun.
what it is.
Dun, dun, dun.
Guess what the thing is.
Dun, dun.
We're having a conversation. You're not being backup music.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, you are being backup music. Okay, I'll have the conversation.
Dun, dun.
Deep in the recesses of your mind, there's one thing. What thing is it? It's a big rabbit. Oh, no, I don't want to have a big rabbit in my brain.
Dun, dun,
Oh,
dun.
no, you do have a big rabbit in your brain. We all have a big rabbit in our brain.
Dun, dun, dun.
Isaac, I need you to yes and me. I didn't know where this bit was going to go. I hope you were...
I need you to yes and me. My
Okay,
whole,
sorry.
My,
Dun, 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 dun,
my
dun.
whole bit was a character that only speaks in suspenseful sounds.
Well, I didn't know that. This is. Oh, God.
But we put it in the show notes, Derek. Come on, let's get on my level.
No, you can't. You can't
Dun, dun,
practice
dun.
improv. That's
Dun,
not how it works.
Dun 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 dun.
Oh, sorry. What was that?
Dun dun dun.
Oh, yeah.
Dun dun
That's
dun.
really fun. You can't say that about our
Dun,
listeners.
Dun dun dun.
You can't say that about
Dun.
our listeners.
Dun dun.
Yeah, it's like dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, dun dun back home.
Okay, now back to yours. So
I don't know.
No, back. So there's a
I don't think it was funny.
there's a giant rabbit.
There's a giant rabbit, and it lives inside all of us. It's deep
Inside
in the
of all of us.
recesses of your brain.
It's hopping around. It's loving. It's like imagine where most people have a hamster on a wheel. We have rabbits. We have bunnies, hares, if you will.
That's actually.
Oh, we have hairs in our head. Hair like the bunny, not like
Unless
you
you're
know
bald.
the '70s musical hair with all the naked
Pubes.
hippies. Pubes, lots of
Pubes
pubes.
the musical.
Might as well call it pubes. Pubes, 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 pubes,
you
pubes, pubes, pubes.
So you know
Grow it, show it, long as God can grow it. My pubes.
Oh my
I
god!
have so many regrets.
That I have regrets for you on God's birthday.
On God's holy day, I apologize.
Wait,
Wait, no, today is God's birthday. Did you know?
yeah, Easter's God's birthday. How come we never talk about God's birthday? We only talk about Jesus' birthday.
He's
What
the
about
only one
God's
that-
birthday?
He's a very giving person. God is just like, it's fine. I don't care about my son. Jesus can have a birthday.
Literally talked about the fact we weren't going to bring up religion this
We
episode.
did so bad,
did
so fast,
so
but also
bad.
It
It
would
was
be
Easter.
It would be very odd to talk about Easter
On God.
Easter, yeah, on God Day. So, no, on God, it would be so weird to bring up Easter without the man himself, our favorite undead character, Jesus Christ, the superstar, if you will,
the ultimate zombie.
the ultimate zombie or undead.
please.
Resurrection alone does not a zombie make, but
That's true.
Yeah, he's undead, and that's kind of cool. Does that make Jesus like a horror icon?
I think you know what I'm gonna say it. I think you're right. I think we're gonna get canceled again,
Derek,
but
no.
I think you're right.
But Derek, let's redeem ourselves by making a really funny movie called He Is Resin, because
And then
what,
people use on their cello bows.
no,
or
what
you
I
use
was
resin.
That's a good idea too. No, what I was thinking
No,
was
it's
like
not.
what I was thinking was like there's some plot where they're like, we need to further this religion. What can we do? This icon, this figurehead of our thing is gone now. He's dead. Let's recreate a resin version of Jesus. He is resin.
I see what you're
And
doing.
it's like a Weekend at Bernie's kind of thing.
Yeah, they're just like
Where
wheelchairing
they're
him around to churches.
puppeteering around this resin Jesus.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like that.
I don't know where that goes. Maybe it goes nowhere.
I don't think it goes anywhere.
I don't think it goes anywhere beyond that.
You know where it does go?
Where does it go?
Gets in his car and it has a long drive ahead of it. And it turns on the radio, and the radio's broken. So they open up Spotify, and what do they see in there? Oh, that was horrible.
Oh yeah, right there on the list of podcasts you listen to. Right there
Yeah.
again, there's that little dot that says, "Hey, these guys got a new episode." And guess
The
what?
little blue.
It's us. It's your boys here. My name is Isaac.
I'm Derek.
And this is That
Was
Was Horrible.
Horrible.
It's a podcast where we do our best
At slightly doing the worst.
at reviewing
Wait.
horror movies. We do our best at slightly doing the worst. No, but
It's not wrong.
Everyone is afraid to say that they're the worst of stuff. Everyone's like, we're New York's #1 slice
Yeah.
of pizza. Like we're New York Times bestselling. Like we're like the most like best worst podcast you've listened
Why
to.
not? Why not go to worst coffee place of all time? Like,
Yeah.
world's best coffee, world's worst coffee.
And I think there's something there. I feel like there's a gimmick there that would make people go because people would be
I
like,
would.
I'll be the judge of that. Because I feel like it works both ways. If I see a best coffee, I'm like, all right, let's see if it's really that good. Same with the worst. I'd be like, how bad could it be? Like, really, you're coming out here claiming you are #1 worst.
But I feel like you would either have to go one of two ways, right? You would have to either be horrible, like absolutely terrible, or incredible.
Right,
Because
but
I feel like if you were mid, like I feel like if it was like middle ground,
Yeah.
just fine, you'd be disappointed.
And I feel like there has to be some kind of effort in there, though. You can't just like take a cup of water and pour coffee grounds inside of it, stir it up. You're like, well, that's coffee now,
Well,
and
it's
it's the
coffee.
worst. Like there has to be some level of care put into this coffee product, right?
And you would get grounded if you did that anyway.
Derek, you're really grinding my gears.
Oh, that's good.
Did you like that? Did you like when I roasted you?
Oh, that's
Did you
pretty
like
good.
when I roasted you, Derek?
there he is.
Honk honk, it's me, Puny
Puny
the punner.
punner.
What? Did you hear? That was there was an echo in the room. Hold on, echo.
Echo.
That's weird. Puny the punner's the best.
Puny punner. Have you ever heard of the coffee grounds?
The echo went away. That's fine. I just wanted to hear someone call me the best because no one's ever done it before. And yak, 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 yak.
Have you ever heard of the coffee that comes out of a monkey's butt?
What?
Yeah, Kapi Luwak. It's the world's most exclusive and expensive coffee. It's
Well, thank you very
basically-
much. I will not cop some of that. Thank you very much. Yuck, yuck,
not
yuck,
everything
yuck,
has
yuck.
to be a pun, Puny punner. So yeah, it's a real thing. There is an Indonesian monkey that is its stomach partially digests the coffee beans and then poops them out, and then you use that.
Wow.
That's how you make coffee.
People like that? That sounds gross, Derek.
It sounds terrible, yeah, but look how cute he is. He's a little lemur boy, and he eats coffee beans.
Oh, that's is that a monkey or is that a raccoon? It looks like both. This
I don't know. I feel like this bit is dead in the water. I just wanted to tell everyone about coffee.
Much like that coffee, this bit belongs in the toilet. Yuck, yuck, yuck.
Okay.
A bing.
Yeah, get him out of here. What's he doing? And what's the biggest rabbit?
Just the biggest rabbit.
Yeah, like what do you
it's
think?
probably the rabbit from Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Were Rabbit.
Yeah, but that was a man.
That was
a man.
But it was a were rabbit. So like that involves that he turns into a rabbit. I would not say a wolf man is just a man.
That's true.
It's half wolf, half man. It's all part of it.
Holy shit.
The
biggest rabbit of all time is 4 feet 3 inches.
Whoa.
That's big.
That's
50
big,
pounds.
actually.
That's bigger than my dog.
That's huge. That's way too big.
For reference, I have a corgi.
Yeah, and so corgis are, corgi sized, and they don't get that big.
sized.
You all know. Just look into your life and all the corgis that you know. It's about that size.
How's your Easter going?
It's going pretty good. I was taking care of this little rabbit, actually. A friend of mine wanted me to take care of it in like this little like sciencey lab thing. I didn't ask a lot of questions. They gave me a lab coat, and I was like, yeah, cool, I'll take that. So then I walk in, there's like this bunny. It didn't look very alive or real, but I was asked to take care of it. It had like a string attached to it and everything, so they could like yank on it to make it look alive. It seemed more like a puppet, but it was really important to my friend. And so it bit me, actually. The rabbit bit me.
Yeah.
And I feel kind of funny. Like if you're noticing, I got these little like they're almost whiskers. They're almost whiskers on my face.
Wait,
And
turn around real quick.
Yeah, what's up?
Oh,
What
you
is
got
it?
a little cotton tail.
What?
Yeah.
What? Where?
Do you ever find that you're in a softcore porn?
Yeah, actually. Yeah. Is that one of the symptoms? Oh God, Derek, am I sick? Do I need help, Derek?
Yeah, I think you're surrounded by porn stars.
Stop laughing away from the microphone and come back to
So something really crazy
Something
happened.
incredible happened that is also terrible.
So last episode, we like kind of accidentally did a bit where I had a bunch of movies, we rolled a dice, and we picked our movie.
What's so funny, though, is I was very excited about the fact that we were ahead of things. We said, hey, guys, this holiday is coming up because we messed up on St. Patrick's Day. We messed up on another one, too. I can't remember.
All of them.
All of them. But, like, so we came late, right? So we looked ahead. We're like, okay, we're going to watch this movie. It is about bunnies. This will be our Easter movie for our Easter episode this week. Happy Easter, everybody.
Yes, so we picked our movie based on a dice roll.
Yeah.
And I did not look into any of the movies that were on that list.
They were just movies that had bunnies in them.
And then when we were looking it up yesterday to get ready to watch our movie, I rented it before doing anything, which was my first mistake.
You committed so hard.
I do that with every movie we watch. It wasn't like a new thing. It was just like happened to be my downfall today. So anyway, we turned on this movie, and well, we watched the trailer, which was super hard to find.
Derek was doing some research beforehand, though. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, no, this might actually be softcore porn. I was like, what do you mean it might be porn?
So the producers were Maxim Entertainment, which I haven't looked into, but I'm pretty sure Maxim magazine was a thing. And then it said on one of the images, it was like with porn star so and so.
Oh, okay.
Or
Starring porn
well,
star
it was like
so-and-so.
Playboy Bunny, not porn star.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, we can still watch the trailer and see if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Because like IMDb calls it a comedy horror, and I was like, okay, this is fine.
Yeah.
And
But
then,
I think our first sign should have been the fact that it did not have a critics score. It just had the audience rating.
Yeah.
And typically those end up being like those really, really low budget B movie kind of things where you can get away with some things that happen in this movie.
yeah, so we were like, okay, we'll try it.
Derek already rented it, so we kind of had to commit to some level.
Yeah, and you guys remember Birdemic? Everybody remember Birdemic?
You guys remember Birdemic? You
It
guys
was
recall?
worse than that.
You know, the bird movie.
It was lower than that on like the budget scale.
I mean, just
we don't say movies are bad here, but that movie was it would have felt like bullying to put it on the podcast.
Yes,
right?
honestly, bullying you, bullying us, anyone in the room watching it, like it just would not have been the best time.
Every single scene in that movie. Not even the ones where sex happened, which was apparently a lot.
It happened.
We skipped. We did not watch this whole movie.
No. We skipped through it for sure.
Every single one of them felt like that cliche, like, "Oh, you're the plumber. Let me just undo my button and pay for this."
That's exactly how the
boobs.
acting level was. Even on scenes that weren't like sexual in
exactly.
any nature, it was just like porno level acting. It was the best way to describe
brutal.
it.
So that was a mistake.
Yep. That's all.
That's all. So instead, we didn't watch a movie this week. And what we did do was we played patty cake with rabbits in a field.
Yeah. Rabbit cake, baker's cake. How many rabbits does it take to bake a cake?
6.
One to put the flour in and one to stir it up. One to bake it all and put it in a cup. You got that one.
One to put it on the plate and eat it all up.
And that's why they rented, then watched the movie Up.
They watched
Pixar's
Up?
Yeah.
So instead,
bunnies love Up.
We did actually watch a movie.
We did. So apologies for like misleading you yet again. I don't want to keep doing.
I don't
this.
think anyone listened to that and they were like, "Ooh, I'm so excited to." I don't even.
Yeah,
know
I'm sure people don't
now.
actually hear that and go, "Oh boy, I'm so excited to hear about that," because I don't think anyone knew what Cottontail from 2007
I
was.
honestly forgot the name.
Exactly right. Yeah, yeah. So instead, we switched gears and watched Night of the Lepus from 1972. Which was actually funny enough the first movie that I had chosen before Derek had done his like fun little dice game, which I thought was a really good idea.
Yeah.
But this was the one that I'm like, okay, sure, yeah, let's roll with this one. I see bunnies, I see blood. It has scores it's basically it covers all of our boxes, right?
It checks all of our boxes.
It checks all of the boxes. How are you feeling about this movie before we got into it?
Well, based on the trailer, I was reserved.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was like, okay, this is interesting. Like, what are we doing?
The trailer had absolutely no rabbits in it. We knew it was a movie about rabbits. Lepus, Night of the Lepus, actually stands for like hare in Italian, I want to say.
Yeah.
And so we were like, okay, yeah, so it's a movie about bunnies. The entire trailer, the only thing that it showed us in between scenes of like people running away and being scared was just shots of like a bunny's glowing eyes in the distance. And that shot, I don't even think that shot was in the movie, in all honesty.
No, it was never in the movie.
Yeah, so like they really hung up on that. So I was like, I'm curious why they wanted to do that, why they went that route with it, why they are not showing us these bunnies and they're killers, you know? Is it because they can't make them scary? Because guys, bunnies is cute.
Have you ever considered why Easter is celebrated 2 different ways?
Oh,
Because I feel like Easter in Christianity is very much like Jesus, resurrecting and all that. And then Easter everywhere else is like, oh, we have this rabbit who gave birth to eggs and his name was Osterhaus and we love him.
Can you imagine like Jesus comes out of his tomb. He's like, hey guys, what? And then he sees this giant bunny hopping around and handing out eggs to everybody. And he comes up to one guy. He's like, so the bunny celebrates our failed murder attempt. Yeah. That's kind of his whole thing.
Yeah, the bunny's a little upset because he was like really excited. This was his day.
Yeah, it was his whole thing. And then you kind of came back, and now it's like,
now it's a little awkward.
Now it's kind of awkward because he's here now. We like the bunny,
Yeah, the bunny's great.
He's
a
real cool guy. Actually, you should hang out with him. But like now it's like you're back, and like so how do we like? Are you? I mean, do you want me to say something to him? Because I just don't have the heart for him. And look at those whiskers. Look at his little nose.
I mean,
he's so cute. He gave me an egg, and this egg had money in it. What did you give me? You washed my feet.
Oh. What if? Okay, but wait, hold on. Shifting gears a little bit. Let's try a different thought. Like,
what if approach?
what
less
if
blasphemous
Jesus...
one, maybe?
Oh, I was.
Oh, no. Well, don't let me stop you, Derek. What's up?
I was just gonna ask if what if a rabbit was crucified, and that's
Oh,
why.
my God.
And that's why we celebrate him on the same day. Like a bunny came back. He hopped back. You know, the bunny hopped back.
He
3
hopped
days
for
later.
your sins.
We're in trouble.
We are definitely in trouble.
This
I
has
thought
been
we were
bad.
in trouble last week. We might be even more in trouble this week.
Luckily, next week is. Oh my God! Tomorrow's April Fool's Day.
Oh my God. You guys remember when we watched Alien for April Fool's
That
Day?
was such a bad movie.
It was, just so terrible. Ha, April Fools. It wasn't.
Joke's on you. No, it's just weird to me. Like, I don't know.
We should be pranking each other this episode because I'm realizing now this is going to come out on April 2nd. And so that means we this is our dual April Fools and Easter episode.
Well, we kind of April Fools by accidentally watching porn.
Hi, April Fools. We watched porn. No.
To be clear, it was not actually pornography.
No.
Like, it was just very horny.
There was
and there was
nudity in
so
it.
much boobs.
There
Like,
was one, I really want to know. We never made it to this part as we were skimming through the movie because we couldn't finish it. There is one part in the trailer where the were-rabbit is walking up to these two women who are screaming because he's a monster about to kill them. And one of them just says, "Do you want to have a threesome?" And like, why? What happens? What is this? Make it make sense.
rabbits are horny, man. Literally everyone knows
That's true. Rabbits do two things very well: make other rabbits and make
lay eggs.
pellets and give eggs to the good children
No, they lay
of the
eggs.
world. No, they lay.
They lay eggs.
The
Why
rabbit-
else would there be eggs and rabbits together?
I guess it's very fair that Easter only comes around once a year, though, because that rabbit has to lay like a lot of eggs.
Dude, he is pumping them out.
He is a whole thing,
Like a machine gun of eggs
Yeah.
coming out of that cloaca. Do you think?
cloaca.
Do you think that that rabbit has a cloaca, or do you think it came out of his butt,
I think.
or do you think it comes out of his mouth?
So we watched Night of the Lepus.
Bleh. Like,
No.
oh, I'm
I
having
would
a
rather
normal
they come-
conversation. Bleh.
Yeah, I would rather
Oh,
they
an
come out of
egg.
his mouth. Yeah, so I don't know. I think Susie from accounting's.
Bleh. Oh, he just.
Hey,
what's wrong with that guy?
Hey, Mark, you really can't be like if you're gonna go talk to Susie, like you can't let that happen
Sorry,
like in the
man.
middle of
It's
conversation.
just like it's March
Are you-
27th.
Are you
and
done?
Easter soon.
Is
and
it out of your system?
No, it's not. I go.
Oh God, it's
I-
just every. I'm
Open
sorry.
that one
I,
up. It might be a
I-
Reese's Pieces.
I can't. Okay. Yeah. No. Imagine he goes over to talk to Susie and he's flirting it up with her, and then he does that, and she's like, "Oh my God, no!" He's like, "No, open it up." And it's a note. It says dinner reservations. Do you want to go on a date with me? Yes. No.
Yes, but then he does another one, and it's like another dinner reservation slip, but for someone else.
Well,
Who
who's
is
this one
she?
for?
Who is
It's like, oh, how cute! Yeah, dinner reservations at Sardi's. How cute! Wow. And this is for Rebecca. Rebecca, the secretary.
Oh, I'm sorry. Listen,
Rebecca Terry, we all call her.
I gotta hop out of this one. Bing.
Whoa. Can't take Puny the
think-
Punter's thing.
Okay, well, let's
That
name.
shows a level of admiration, though. I
This
think you
rabbit-
admire him a little
This
bit.
bunny has a name.
I think I called him Mark, is what I named him now.
I just want to keep going on this bit, but I wanted to see. Well, Osterhaus was the original egg-laying hare.
What?
Yeah.
One more time?
Osterhaus.
Osterhase. Osterhaus or Osterhaus.
History.com reports that it was first introduced in 1700s by German immigrants in Pennsylvania, who reportedly brought with them their tradition of an egg-laying hare named Osterhaus.
What a strange thing to bring up. No, guys, I swear. This hare.
you lay eggs.
No, watch. Just set him down. Okay, you're all watching now. He's nervous. He's not going to do it.
Everybody close your eyes.
I swear to God, this hare lays eggs.
Did you bring the eggs?
Come on, just do it. Yeah, I got the.
I
only
just
brought,
shove it right under his
I only
butt.
had as many
Just
as can fit in my pocket, so it's like 3.
Wait, do the eggs come out of his ass?
We're not answering questions right now.
No, they come out of a hair, not an ass.
Yeah, you're silly, you're like a donkey.
Yeah.
But dunk 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 dunk.
Okay.
It's Easter Day. Da-da.
And I think the reason that we hide them, the reason we
Uh-huh.
hide the eggs.
Yeah, why are we is the Easter Bunny ashamed of these eggs that's happening?
Apparently, what in my research with Science Jim, who
Yes.
also lays eggs,
Oh.
we were.
I wouldn't eat those. I would not eat those eggs.
Me neither.
Those eggs have something bad in them, I think.
Do you know what's crazy though? Our
One more time.
we have a little fish tank downstairs, and one of our snails laid eggs today.
Yeah, one of our snails laid eggs on this Easter day.
crazy.
So
It's
our
crazy.
snail is actually the Easter Bunny.
Sneester.
The snail has risen. He is reborn. The Easter Bunny is reborn as a snail.
It was crazy.
Sneester, snabbit.
But anyway, we hide eggs because it
Sneester
represents
snunny.
fertility, new life, and potential.
It represents new life and fertility and I'm telling you about Easter's. It's a great day. It's a beautiful day for Easter's.
It's a beautiful day. Anyway.
Is that all you had about Easter's?
I don't remember where I was going. I got distracted by snail eggs.
Every time I hear the word Easter, it reminds me of Nacho Libre, which is a great movie that I love. And there's specifically a line in there when one guy's talking to Nacho Libre, he says, "Do you not know that I have had the diarrheas since Easter's?" And I love it. Every time I think about that, that comes to mind.
I haven't seen
Mostly
that
because he
movie in,
says
like,
Easter with an
30
S on the
years.
end of it.
Easters. What are you drinking today?
Oh, what am I drinking today? I'm drinking a drink that's kind of making me hop with excitement.
Whoa, 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 hop,
It's
hop,
got, it's, it must have like some caffeine in it or something, right? Because I'm feeling like really good. Like I could go run a marathon.
Oh, you like it today, do you?
Bilbo. We should spawn you like Beetlejuice.
Bilbo. Say it 3 times.
Bilbo.
Yes.
Bilbo.
Yes.
Bill Bones is a good TV show that was on the air for a
Damn.
while. Almost got you there.
It's so cool. Stand up, bro. Damn it. I literally know those lyrics, but I forgot them because I got nervous.
You got camera shy? You got
nervous.
podcast shy? Microphone
I'll go back
shy?
to Bilbo though. Hello. Today you're drinking probably my best concoction yet.
I'll admit, I will tell you, Bilbo, this is probably like your best one yet. This drink kicks ass.
It's a coffee drink
Oh,
to get you
okay.
hopping on this hopping day.
I get you.
I also really wanted to make something dark, but it didn't work. Anyway, it is an iced latte
Mm-hmm. Ice.
with a banana.
Okay.
With a banana. You know what else you've got in there?
What's inside?
Ice.
Ice.
But what's the ice made of?
Uh-huh.
It's made of the blood of your enemies. They're gone.
It tastes satisfying, so that makes sense, actually. I'm into that.
I also blended it up with another banana.
Uh-huh. So two bananas now.
No,
We're up to
just
2.
one.
Just one.
The first banana was a thought.
Just the
It was
thought of a banana.
I thought really hard
I
about
put
putting
the
a banana.
spirit of a banana in there. That's what LaCroix tastes like. You put the thought of strawberries into like a decarbonated water.
I love LaCroix.
You would.
Many an enemy of mine has died at a LaCroix.
Died to the hands of LaCroix. Did you poison the LaCroix?
No, I hyped up how flavorful it was.
And they got so
and
excited.
It was so opposite
the
that they
disappointment,
died.
like the change there. They were so disappointed they died.
It's like when you expect to eat hot soup and it's cold. It's so
that's-
funny.
You know,
Everybody dies.
Bilbo, you're bad. You're
Ooh,
so
I'm
bad.
naughty.
Oh, Bilbo.
Or when you expect to see a straight play but see a musical. Oh, you die.
Oh, when you expect to go see a movie and instead it's a movie musical and
Oh,
nobody
that's
told
the best
you.
one. I must applaud the Wonka creators.
The Wonkas and the Mean Girls.
Yes.
And the other one.
And the colors of the purple.
And the colors of the purples.
Anyway, delicious drink. It's basically just Kahlua and coffee blended with a banana.
Yum, yum, yum. Thank you. And the thought of a banana.
A bing.
It's not your exit.
Soupy twist.
There it is. There he is, everybody. Round of applause for Bilbo Bartender, everybody.
This is good radio.
Derek, how does it feel? How do you feel after Bilbo exits your mortal vessel? Does it kind of like, do you feel like a husk, like a carcass of a man, like fitting back into your skin, or is it like taking a nap? You're asleep.
Wait,
and like
can I
you
ask
come
you a
back?
question off camera? real
Yeah,
quick?
yeah. Okay, what's up? We're off camera now.
You know Bilbo Bartender's me, right?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Like he's just me.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
just
just-
doing a character.
You're just doing, yeah, of course. It's
You
just
know
so-
that, right?
Yeah, well, I was just doing a bit with you on the podcast,
Okay.
right? Look, just
I'll pretend though.
Yeah,
for this bit,
we're just
I'll
being
like
silly.
make something up real quick.
yeah, sure, okay, yeah.
yeah. So, anyway,
so
when
you're doing
he
a character,
when-
I totally get.
What?
Oh,
No,
but you were.
no. When he comes and takes over my body,
Right, yeah, when he comes and takes over
when
your
he
body.
gives me back my body,
Uh-huh.
it's very similar to getting your change back at the jewelry store. So like you hand him
Only at the jewelry store.
Well, yeah. So like
They're the only place that gives change these days.
It is. Well, because you put on a ring and sometimes you change. Like, it depends on the kind of ring you're putting on. If I'm putting on a clover,
Yeah.
I'm going to turn into a leprechaun. If I
Yeah.
put on a ruby, I'm going to turn into a giant cherry.
And if
so,
I put on this ring of invisibility, I'm gonna want
Whoa!
to. There I go.
He's gone.
Where am I? I really want to like kill people for this ring now. Do you want to take this ring to like a volcano or something? I think that'd be a really fun adventure for us.
I'll try and carry it.
You can't have it.
Oh!
I'm gonna throw that away.
Wait, no, I didn't.
Oh God. Guys, we talk about Garfield sometimes on this podcast.
Never. Not
And
in real life.
Garfield has another comic for us out today. Welcome to your Garfield horror scope for this week. Has nothing to do with Easter, actually. No bunnies. I'm noticing now Jim Davis does not write like holiday panel, like holiday comics for this lovely little Garfield shtick that we have here. I think he knows. How long do we have to keep talking about Garfield before we catch the attention of Jim Davis?
I think the day that Jim Davis like ats us is the day we win.
The day we receive that cease and desist.
And we probably just stop.
At that point.
So hope and pray we never get found out by Jim Davis.
Guys,
but
remember-
also, that would be great publicity
Be
and
kinda
really
cool.
make our podcast take off, I think. So
Remember how they're making a Garfield movie and it's about Garfield's
that's
dad?
what started this whole thing.
Really, though, they
Wait, it's about Garfield's
Garfield
dad.
Garfield has a father in this one, and it's voiced by Samuel L. Jackson.
That's a great idea.
I have nothing else to say about that other than like what? Samuel L. Jackson is Chris Pratt's dad?
Well, that's
what are we
always been
doing?
true.
That's always true.
I remember when I saw
Samuel L. Jackson's everyone's father.
I remember when I saw Protectors of the Galaxy that
Galaxy.
that in that movie that Samuel L. Jackson was
Yeah,
John Williams'
he was
father.
John Williams' father. So this week we've got a Garfield comic for you. In this one, we have John, who is licking a lovely little popsicle here, and he is licking it in front of a window, which then Garfield comes, opens the window, sheds all over John's popsicle, and just now he's covered in hair. His popsicle's covered in hair. His day is ruined now. Derek, who are you this week?
I'm the popsicle.
You're the popsicle. All right, I'm gonna be Garfield, I guess. So Garfield comes up to this. He sees an opportunity, is what he sees, because what happens in the very final panel of this comic? John says, "Never stand downwind with a fudge pop during shedding season," and Garfield in his brain says, "Are you gonna finish that?" Because he now has an opportunity to take. He doesn't matter.
He got the popsicle.
Cats lick themselves all day. He doesn't matter. A little bit of hair on the tongue, no problem. So he saw his opportunity to take this from John, who John probably didn't give him a lasagna that day. Says, "John, you had this one coming, John. I knew I had to do it to you. You know I don't want to. Don't eat that popsicle in front of that window, John. You see me coming. I'm gonna do it. Don't think I'm messing with you. Okay, here I go."
That's actually like a really good Garfield.
Thank you. I could be Chris Pratt. I could be Chris Pratt in the next Chris Pratt movie.
Because you did it too good.
Can we just have a Chris Pratt like biopic, but it's like a voice actor, like a real good voice actor plays him
Yeah,
instead.
like Troy Baker.
Just complete. Holy shit!
I want like Troy Baker.
Troy
voicing.
Baker as Chris Pratt. That's actually pretty incredible. But then what's he going to do when it comes to the scenes where he's recording for Garfield and stuff? Does he have to
Troy
just
Baker's a great
turn
actor.
it off?
He will be able
I
to-
guess yeah, that's fair. If you ask, if you are a good actor at all, you can act poorly very well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
That's a part of it. But anyway, Garfield
you
saw an
can.
opportunity, so take your opportunity. Shed on that food if it means you can have it.
If you find yourself
it.
in a position where you're being licked,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm gonna do John and
Are
the
you
popsicle.
Well, you don't want to do this. The popsicle called out to Garfield, his savior.
Yeah, well, okay, that's kind of where I was going. So like he's in a position of pain and
Yeah.
torment.
And John's got this like kind of evil smirk
He
about him right
really
now. He
is.
looks a little too happy
He's
about
a little
this licking
horned up
that's going
about
on.
it, you know. And so Garfield comes in, he opens it, he gets his shedding over.
He's a
over
hero.
the popsicle. Garfield's not going to want a hairball. Cats get hairballs all the time. What's probably going to happen is he's going to put that popsicle back in the freezer. He's going to save its life.
He's going to put that popsicle back in the freezer where Odie can then get it and give it to a sworn enemy, Odie.
Yeah, exactly. And so if in your life you found yourself getting licked, don't just sit around and wait like this popsicle did.
No.
Take action, move on with your life, become what you want to become. If you don't want to be a popsicle anymore, you want to be a puddle on the floor, just make someone open the window.
Use your magical telepathy. Honestly, popsicles are telepathic. If that's something we can learn today.
Popsicles are telepathic.
Something that is very important this Easter, this April Fool's Day, this Tuesday for you if you're listening on a release day. It is the popsicles have telekinesis. Popsicles are telekinetic, if you will. I really wish I was a popsicle now. Derek, if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Oh my God, we've talked I don't know if we've ever.
I don't know if we've talked about this on air.
I think. Well, I already do have a superpower.
Oh,
I've talked about it a lot.
ADHD.
Well, that's arguably a disorder. I was yeah, I of course I have ADHD.
Yeah,
everybody knows that one. That's not a surprise to anybody.
You can't tell by the way our podcast runs and how far we go from the point.
It's fine. It's great.
What's your superpower?
So my superpower is anytime I touch a cable, it gets immediately curled up with something. You have witnessed this with me. Like, it doesn't matter
happens.
what I do. If I leave him alone, if I bundle him up, if I use cable ties, no matter what I do, a cable will become wound. So I think if I were to have a new superpower, it would be to shrink and increase the size of cables at will. And that's it.
But
Because that would
also,
change my life.
I could see a movie about this where it's like an average, coming of age superhero movie. They get this superpower. They're like, this superpower sucks. Spider-Man can swing webs and climb on walls. Superman can fly. All I do is like jumble cables together. I'm useless. You guys don't need me on the team. Gah. And then he's like, Lars Evil Man is here, and I'm here to rule the world with my supercomputer.
Not anymore.
Detonation of the planet. What?
Cables tangled.
What? No. Computer. Stop this entangling process unavoidable.
What if though? So like how in those superhero movies, like there's some like change that happens. Like they use
like when they go to the jewelry
power.
store and they get change back.
Well, kind of like that. So if in this situation, like throughout the movie, he's going through a really, really hard time. He's going to superhero college. Everybody's making fun of him. Tangler.
Hey, Derek.
Hey, Tangler, what are you gonna do? Tangle?
Hey, Derek. Real quick though. Do you think there's a scene in this where he's fiddling around with his his wiener and it gets all tangled up?
Absolutely.
And do you think the next scene is him going back up to the school bullies like, ha, look at you, the Tangler, you
and then
stupid
he just,
dumb
points
powers.
at their pants.
And then they get all, oh God, it's all tangled up.
Power unlocked. he's in the bathroom. A new technology I'll use for later.
New tech unlocked. Vasectomy at will.
No, tie your tubes.
Tubes tied. Tubes untied.
Well, that's kind of where I'm going with this, though. So, like throughout the arc of the story, he's really, really depressed. He goes through this whole thing.
Yeah,
he's trying to belong. Finally, he's fighting the guy with the supercomputer.
Yeah.
But then he realizes
Lars Evil Man.
And he tangles him too much. But then he has like one of those flashback moments where he's thinking about his old sensei.
Yeah.
And his sensei's like, to wind, you must first unwind. And he's like, oh my God.
Wax on, wax off kind of stuff,
Exactly,
right?
Yeah. And he realizes that the power to unwind was within him all along. And so he uses his power reversely.
Okay, yeah. So, he realizes his power doesn't work just one way. He can wind and unwind.
He can also unwind.
So yeah, he can do that magic trick where like takes a wadded up thing of like headphones in his hand, like corded headphones, like closes his fist, opens it back up. They're perfectly neat and rolled.
But then the sequels got a little dark because then he realized what he could do to like people's blood veins and stuff, and he could untangle them, and then like he would like untangle people's intestines.
Oh Lord!
Yeah.
Do you think he could use that though? Like, oh, I'm nervous. My stomach's in a twist. It's like, oh, no problem. I got that. Bing.
World's best veterinarian.
Yeah. Do you feel like at the end of like the first movie, like the only cool thing he can do, like the kids at school, like, wow, you saved the day. He's like, yeah, no problem. Here you go. And like points to their shoes and their shoes get tied. He's like, yeah, I appreciate that, but like double knots. What if I want to?
I really feel like the opening scene of the movie
of the movie, the first one, the sequel,
first movie,
because now we've established there's at least two of these movies,
and of course it's called Tangler.
Yes,
and
of course.
So. A tangle to remember. And so he's sitting there in his chair, like in gym class, right? And they're getting ready to go and run laps. And there's a bully kid who's like basically the Superman type, right?
Yeah.
And he turns around and he's like, Tangle, what are you going to do today? Tangle up that rope, get stuck up there, dick.
Nerd. You can't do it. He's so right. He's the cool guy at the school.
And then Tangler, he said, well, I don't know, is Davy the Tangler.
Yeah.
He like sits down and he points at his shoelaces across, the douchebag McGee's.
Yeah, but like secretly like kind of under the table kind of stuff.
So like the first scene is this, and he like sees get his feet tied together.
Yeah.
And then he's in the principal's office, and the principal's like Steve Buscemi, and he's like,
sure, why not? Steve Buscemi's there. And Danny DeVito's the coach of the gym class. Let's just cast what we want.
Yeah, of course.
Give the people what they want.
Who plays the Tangler?
Who plays
Michael
the Tangler?
Cera.
Michael Cera.
100% Michael Cera.
You were there too.
We were there. It was 100% Michael Cera.
Cera's the Tangler.
It has to be.
Michael Cera as Davy the Tangler.
Davy the Tangler.
Davy Tingle the Tangler.
I could totally see him sitting in that office. He's like his arms folding. Steve Buscemi's just like, you can't be tying their shoes together before they go and climb on the ropes.
Look at me and my scary eyes. It's me, Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi. I can't.
How do you do, fellow kids?
How do you do, fellow kids? How does Steve Buscemi talk?
I don't know.
That was hard.
I have to think about like Randall in Monsters Inc.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't. Okay. I was almost maybe gonna try something. No, I got nothing. That's not what Randall sounds like.
Hey guys, it's me, Randall.
That's like Randall's like nerdy brother or something.
Hey, it's me, Bandle.
Bandle, we told you can't hang out with us. We're the cool monsters. Can you turn invisible? I didn't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, go back
He
over
can only
there.
turn like opaque.
He can only turn actually like really bright, noticeable colors.
Neon.
Exactly,
Neon,
right? Yeah, go back to your job as a
go be
traffic
pink.
light. In this world, they actually have like actual people working as like the stop and go lights at traffic intersections. It's just one of them that turns a bright red and then one that turns a bright green.
That's
color.
incredible. Anyway,
So the Tangler. I'd like to see this gritty sequel though, where he kind of
Yes.
goes where like it goes a different route, where it's not like oh, how's a superhero gonna get us out of this situation again? No, he goes to the dark side in this one.
Yeah, I like
we got
that
like
too.
an Anakin Skywalker thing going
well,
on here.
because that's how he learns he can untangle it, right? Because like, what's his name? The evil man.
Oh, Lars Evilman.
Lars Evilman.
Yeah.
He looks at Tangler and is like, I am your father, right? And obviously, Lars Evilman is played by Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
He could be
and
there, yeah.
so
But in a wig, so like it's kind of like, is that Dwayne? I can't tell.
it's like a really long wig.
Yeah, it's
he's
like
like wearing
kinda gorgeous.
a floral gown the entire
it's
time.
like distractingly beautiful the whole time.
Yeah, so he looks at him and he's like, Davey, I'm your father. You know, I tangled before you. And he like,
what can I say except
but then
you're welcome.
You're welcome. And then he like picks up all his hair and like ties it into perfect knots, and it's like beautiful. He like braids
It's like
his hair.
gorgeous.
And
It's
he's
like those like
you could.
hair competitions, right? Where they do crazy things like beards and stuff.
And he's like, you could tangle the whole time. And he's like, I could, and you can have all my secrets too. You just have to untangle these cables.
Oh God! And he's sitting
like,
here at a
he's
crossroads.
so torn. He's like, well, that's gonna blow up the White House, but you're gonna tell me all of the secrets of the universe. Oh my God!
and I can finally win that knot tying competition like I've always dreamed
And
of.
I can finally untie my penis. Ah, Dad, what do I do?
Oh God, jeez.
And
Dad.
the last scene is the cables untangling and the computer going missile launch activated.
Missile launch activated.
And then in the
Tangles
next movie,
untangled.
the next movie is him learning from his dad
Yes.
to become evil.
So he's becoming, kind of like he's got a new master now, his new sensei teaching him the ways of like these really intricate knots. It's like that dark magic kind of thing. The knots that they don't teach you at school.
Yeah.
The forbidden knots.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's Tangler 2, the forbidden knot.
The forbidden knot.
And that's like the one big thing that they're
my
going
God.
for. God, is somebody
someone
writing
write
this
this
down? Is anybody writing this? Michael,
Only we had
Sarah,
that
are
guy
you
in the-
busy?
Michael, Sarah, are you busy? I really like the idea of that. And that movie ends with his dad dying. Obviously, his
Of course,
dad has to die in that
yeah.
movie.
Because that's what's going to start him on his villain journey. Because I think through the whole movie, he's still kind of struggling with like, is what I'm doing bad? Is this inherently evil? Like, Dad, you killed some people who were doing evil stuff within the government. So it's like you were technically doing a good thing, but people don't understand that. Are you really a bad guy?
Yeah.
But then the supposed good guys, the Superman types of the movie, they kill his dad, and now he's on this path of darkness. Now it's like there's no coming back from this.
We didn't discuss if he has like a Mary Jane though.
I was actually thinking that he's got to have some.
I think it's Justin Long.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Justin Long as his Mary Jane, and his name is Michael James.
No,
and
I think he can still just be Justin Long, and his superpower is that he can just make himself really long, just like 3 feet taller. That's
God,
it.
the implications.
No.
The implications.
Don't think about that. Don't think about what happens when he touches his tall. You know what I'm saying.
Oh, I'm so tangled, Davey. But then the third movie,
There's a third one.
Yeah, Tangler Rises.
Tangler 3. But it's the type where like Tangler, the E in Tangler is the 3, so it's like the backwards E Tang3R.
And the R goes straight into Rises, so it's Tangler Rises.
Tangler Rises.
Tangler Rises.
That's pretty good. Does Tangler have a son?
So
Do they create like this son out of ropes and knots like he's Pinocchio or something?
I was kind of thinking that because we have to find a way to bring him to the good side.
Yes.
Right? He has to eventually end up as that like vigilante.
I
we
think
love.
that's what happens, right? You start him out as this good guy, movie 1. Movie 2, he goes down the dark path.
the
His
dark
dad
path.
gets killed. Lars, the evil man, gets killed.
Yeah.
Movie 3, we got to bring him back.
I think Justin Long becomes the evil in the third one.
Okay, so he comes back around.
I think it comes out like Justin Long did. That
Can we just call him Long Justin? That's his name.
Long
in this movie.
Justin.
Long Justin is his name.
played by Justin Long
Played by Justin Long. Justin Long as Long Justin.
for justice. Justin for justice.
Justice for Justin.
This just in for justice. Anyway,
Long Justin. So-
anyway, I think that in the second movie, Justin Long is kind of the hero, but towards the end, he starts siding more with the dad, with Levi.
What
evil
if
man
what
or
if he
whatever.
like fakes his death and it actually leads to like a really depressing time for our main character Davey. He's sitting there, he's so sad about it. Finds out he faked his death. There's like a whole movement about like justice for Justin, you know, like all that kind of thing, right? This whole movement. He faked his death so he could go to the dark side. He's like, I got sick of that lifestyle. I'm over this stuff. I'm evil now.
Like
I'm robbing banks with my long body.
A Megamind situation, but instead of just going into hiding, he's going into evil.
Exactly. He's going into evil. Long Justin, he's going into evil.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
So then it gets to the point where their basically adopted son made out of ropes and knots and stuff like that. Their little Pinocchio son.
I imagine it's kind of like the Stay Puft Man from Ghostbusters.
Or maybe I changed. It's not their son. It's their daughter. Her name is Lacey.
Lacey.
Uh-huh. Right? If this movie writes itself, Derek.
It really does.
Her name is Lacey. Their little daughter.
The shoes were there the entire time.
The shoes are like, we just got to put the shoe on the other foot, and here we are. Like, it really, walk a mile in these shoes. That's her. That's the spinoff
Walk
movie.
a mile in her
Lacey,
shoes.
Walk a mile in her shoes. God damn.
Oh my God.
This is so good.
So good.
But so in the third movie, now Long Justin is evil. Davy Tingle Tangle is now like, what are we gonna like? How do we? Because his last name is Tingle. Davy Tingle the Tangler. And so,
Oh my God.
God, we've got so far. Now it's become a point where now Lacey is in a similar position, just like her dad was in the past movies. Where like, what do I do? I love both of my dads. Where am I going to go with this situation?
She's torn.
She's torn, yeah.
But I think
she's all tied up.
Yeah, her stomach is all in knots. I think that.
Oh God,
this movie's pretty naughty.
This whole thing, Derek, is not funny. And Derek, it's not funny.
Get him out of there. We're talking about something.
We're on to our $1 million idea right now. Trademarked. All of it trademarked.
But I definitely think it has to be like a Dark Knight Rises situation.
Okay.
Where like you think the main character is dead.
Yes.
Because like they're like in a helicopter or something, and
so are you saying like Davey
getting tangled up?
Davey like sacrifices himself?
Yes.
Very good.
And it's like very ambiguous on if he leaves or not. And then Walk a Mile in Her Shoes.
Yes.
Is her trying to find out if her dad was dead.
Mm-hmm.
But along that path, she finds out all the evil stuff her dad's did. She finds out that which one was good, which one was evil. And I like the idea of leaving it ambiguous, right? Like, is which one of them was good, which one of them was evil? Like, were either of them evil? Were either of them good, or were they just doing what they thought was right in the moment?
Exactly right. So
because
it's a real
it's
discovery
a fluid
thing.
concept.
And where does that put her as like not even necessarily born? She was a creation made by these two men who have done evil things. Does that make her evil? Is she inherently evil?
Is she?
Because of all of this?
And maybe she totes that line sometimes.
I think so.
Like she's like going and saving a bunch of kids in a sex trafficking ring, and she's killing the people who are running it. Like, she's killing people.
She is murdering. She's ending lives, but saving, like for the greater good kind of thing. It's one of these things where it's like, and there's probably some like cop who maybe has like, who's probably into her a little bit, right? Kind of falls in love with her kind of thing. But it's like, we need to do this right. You have to do this by the book. You can't be killing like this.
And they love each other because he has a skin condition that makes it so he can't grow hair. Okay. So she could never tangle him.
She could never tangle him. You could never tangle me,
That's the romantic spinoff. You can never...
Love never tangles.
Love never tangles! Lacey 2, Love never tangles.
Lacey 2, Love never tangles.
And that's probably it.
Holy shit. So anyway, so that's your superpower.
That's 5 movies. There you go.
If I had a superpower, I would want telekinesis.
I forgot that 10 minutes ago that's where that conversation
remember
started.
how that's how this entire thing started? I just asked you what kind of superpower.
You know by now, 60 episodes in, you can't ask me a question.
Oh my God.
What happens when you ask me a question right now?
If you ask a Derek a question, he's going to want to make 5 movies.
Do you know why Swiss cheese has holes in it?
Why does Swiss cheese? It's because the mice got to it. They eat it. They eat the little holes in it.
This is going to blow your mind, dude.
Blow my mind.
So Swiss cheese now. I saw Swiss cheese on your notes.
Okay.
Swiss cheese.
Don't look at me.
I just saw one word. Well, 2 words.
2 words.
So
this is one word of 2 Swiss cheese.
This is really cool fact that I've been trying to tell somebody for weeks.
You have a platform to tell people now. Let it be known.
Oh, finally, it's my turn. A bink, bink, bink. A bink, bink, bink. What do we talk about? Cheese? What do you fucking talk about cheese? Get out of here, high horse. Okay, Swiss cheese. When it was first created, had holes in it, right? It was like natural holes. Now, if you buy Swiss cheese, it is machine pressed. It's very obvious
they're
that those
fake
holes
holes now.
Yeah, they're fake holes.
So something along the line of like the creation of Swiss cheese got holes out of it then? It doesn't happen naturally anymore?
Do you know what it was?
What was it?
It was like the chemicals from the hay in the barn getting into like the milk.
And that's how it got holes in it?
Yeah, it was bad. It was like really
so the holes in it was not a good thing.
No, but they thought it was.
Yikes. They just did it for the aesthetic.
Yeah.
And now I guess they do because now they're artificially punching holes.
Well, yeah,
that's
you don't want
funny.
You don't want a slice of Swiss cheese without holes in it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, see, that's the funny thing. Like, it is purely for the aesthetic at this point. It's not add any like nutritional value or anything cool to it. It's just like, you all know Swiss cheese as the cheese with holes in it. We can't just take those away.
No, exactly. But no one's like out there talking about how the hay, I can't remember what it's called. It's like hay lung or something is what you get from it. And that's like, no one's out there talking about that. Like, yeah, it's a disease. Anyway, that's one Night of the Lepus.
That's one of the evil plots that Long Justin gets into. It's like he goes to all of the farms and he puts all of like the cheese factories. He puts the holes back in the cheese. Yeah, because that's the thing.
Widespread panic across America as every package of Swiss cheese has no holes. Find more out at 11. Did your Monte Cristo not have a hole in it? Could you taste cheese in every bite? I know. I'm a scared too.
He's just kind of bad at being a villain. It's really benign crimes that he's doing. Like, you put the holes back in the cheese. Sorry, that's not enough. The whole time he's trying to get a part of like the Evil Villains Association.
Yeah.
It's not working for him.
And he does like really like slightly inconveniency things.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
He makes the puddles on the street just a little bigger.
Yeah, he sets the clocks back for all the bus drivers, so they're just like a couple minutes late.
Yeah, a couple minutes though. Nothing
Just like
more than
nothing
that.
huge.
Doesn't want to ruin anyone's day.
No,
or like
minor inconveniences.
he will like move the trash cans on your like route to work just like 3 feet, so you have to walk somewhere else
just a
to throw
little bit
something
further.
away.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like you get in like he's watching people's routines and just slightly changing.
He's filling all the trash cans like just barely up to the top too. So if you put
good.
something on top of it, now you're like, well, now I have to take this out, don't I?
He also uses all of the water in the water jug until there's just like half a glass left.
It's same with like milk. Just like any jug of anything.
Yeah,
just enough.
Just enough to like warrant leaving it in there, but not warrant.
Yeah, not
like,
warrant throwing it away. You're like, well, it's just I can't throw this away. That'd be wasteful, right? If I threw this stuff away.
So, moral of the story: Justin Long's character sucks in that movie.
And somewhere along the line, there's a rabbit because it's Easter, and we still need to talk about that.
So, Night of the Lepus,
Night of the
from
Lepus.
1972. What
was
about
a movie? What about it, Derek?
What
Tell me
about
about
it? So it was directed by William Claxton. It was written by Don Holliday, Gene R. Kearney, and Russell Braddon. You know what we talk about?
Writers up in the mix.
You know what we talk about? Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yep.
It is often a problem for these movies.
Truly, though. It really leads to some messy, incoherent, kind of confusing movies, and I think that this movie is no exception to that.
Yeah,
tenfold.
So Mike, it's funny. So William Claxton actually was like a pretty established director.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of these movies, the directors have done like 5 things,
or
like
5
stopped.
things that no one has ever heard of.
Exactly,
right?
like not a lot of things.
But
So
it looks like he's got like a long list for this guy.
yeah, he's actually done quite a bit. So Michael Claxton, he's directed like 70 episodes of Little House on the Prairie.
Oh, okay.
Which is funny because I referenced that movie a lot in this movie.
You did actually.
And then he's done just like a little like lesser known westerns as well, which checks out
for sure.
And then he actually did some episodes of Twilight Zone as well.
That actually really tracks. There were some moments of this episode, or this movie, that kind of felt Twilight Zone-esque. Didn't quite have the same charm and like appeal to it, but it did feel the same. It is also the most like Western feeling movie I've watched that is not a Western movie.
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
Totally tracks for all of his stuff.
100% believe that.
Absolutely.
So it was written by 3 men. Gene R. Kearney was one of them.
3 men and a bunny.
That's a different movie. He hasn't really done anything. Let's move on. It's kind of sad. Then Don Holliday also has only written the screenplay for this one movie. Let's talk about Russell Braddon, though.
Does he our golden boy? Does he have something to give us, please?
Well, he wrote the book that this movie was based on.
A book?
Yeah, it was based on a book called The Year of the Angry Rabbit.
Oh, okay. So just a completely different thing.
A science fiction novel by Australian writer Russell Braddon.
Very neat.
But it's a little different.
A little.
I'm just gonna read you the description.
Give it to
just
me.
real quick. The Year of the Angry Rabbit is a science fiction novel by Russell Braddon in which giant mutant rabbits run amok in Australia while the Prime Minister uses a new superweapon to dominate the planet.
Well, I don't know what you mean, Derek. That's the exact same movie that we just watched, isn't it?
Well,
No, it absolutely is not.
No, it's absolutely
That
not.
was a completely different thing.
The novel ends with the implication that the remaining supermix bombs are detonated, wiping humanity from the face of the earth.
Whoa, goddamn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God, hold on. The rabbits become too numerous to contain. Australia wages a one-sided
with
war
bunnies.
against the numberless brood. The main character is killed. The entire continent is evacuated, leaving Australia to the Aborigines, who eventually summon a flood to destroy the rabbits.
What?
The novel ends with humanity being wiped from the earth.
That's insane. Australia.
Spoiler
sorry,
alert,
babe, can't
that's
go to
not how
Australia.
this movie is at all.
Sorry, babe, can't go to Australia. Them's Rabbit County. That's the rabbits own that place.
Yeah, it's really hard to count them. There's so many in the county.
They're all over the place.
Potter.
He's sick. This is the dead resurrected Puny the Punter.
I have a question for everybody out there. Do you keep up with our characters?
I don't know if I don't know if we can't. Can we expect anybody else to?
That's a good point.
That's fair.
That's fair. That's more
it's
than
our
fair.
new season. We're in season 2, and by that I mean our next 100 episodes.
Oh, you're right. The rotten.
Not 100 episodes. What I'm trying to say. Next year of podcasting.
Well.
Tell me about the Rotten
Maybe
Tomatoes.
we do 200 episodes. This
We've got
year.
we got an email here from Big Tomato up in Tomato Tower. What does it say about this movie?
You are supposed to be dead. I will be coming for your. Next email. Rotten Tomato.
Okay.
Oh, here it is.
Perfect.
Critic score was 11%.
Derek, how long ago did you receive that email? Was that like?
It's like 2 weeks ago.
Okay,
That's so
that's
weird.
fine.
I didn't open it.
No, you're fine. It's
Critic score is 11. Audience score is 27. Letterboxd is at 2.4. IMDb is at 4.1. I could not find anything on the budget for this movie. In fact, I couldn't really find much on this movie. It, like, as far as production goes, it doesn't seem like it was super great, but they had so many miniature sets in this movie.
Oh
as
my
we'll talk
God,
about.
yes.
So we can pretty much assume that this budget was pretty, like, it was big but small, if that makes sense.
At the very least, like if it had a bigger budget, all of it went into making the miniature sets in this movie because they were abundant, like a bunch of bunnies. Should we talk about the Rotten Tomatoes reviews from some people?
Bunnies are so cute.
Bunnies are so cute. So Matt Brunson from Film Frenzy says, with a rotten review, says, it's hard to take anything seriously after a rancher, 50-year-old Rory Calhoun, describes the pair, 44-year-old Stuart Whitman and 45-year-old Janet Leigh, as that young couple.
Oh, jeez.
Really, Roast? That's a pretty ageist, Matt Brunson. Come on now.
John J. Puccio says the only thing more lifeless than the corpses in Night of the Lepus is the movie itself. I know it's Lepus.
It's Lepus.
I can't stop saying Lepus.
Didn't you get that from the trailer? Because nine times in the trailer, Night of the Lepus. It
Don't
like really
fear
emphasized
Night
that.
of the Lepus.
It just told us about the Lepus without giving us any, which is really funny. David Bax from Battleship Pretension with another rotten review says, it's not bad enough to be funny, but it's ridiculous enough in its very existence that maybe it would have been better if it had actually tried to be comedic, which serves as a reminder, should you need it, that Tremors is pretty much a perfect movie.
Okay.
Way to use your review to get on your high horse about a different movie.
Love that. Christopher Knoll at filmcritic.com with a very simple review says, one of the worst films ever made.
Wow. Short and sweet. 1 out of 5 for that man.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
All right, Derek.
Well, yeah.
Shall we dip into our expectations for this movie? It's been woo. Where's it going? What? It hit something. It's sliding down the wall now. It's slithering away. It's building something like a little box.
Expectations.
It built up. God, that was a roller coaster of Foley work from you.
It was great. I had a great time.
I was following most of it, but I think a lot of it only works if you see the little hand motions too.
No. Everyone who's listening got that.
So expectations, generally expecting. I was thinking this movie would be kind of one of those like so bad it's good kind of things is kind of what I was feeling. How were you feeling?
I was feeling that it was going to be really boring.
Yeah, I get that.
I was looking at it and in a very like, I'm going to be bored out of my mind kind of way.
My first formal expectation was screaming and deaths off screen, typical of movies from the 70s, right? Where it's kind of like they don't want to get into the big gore and the big horrorness of it, right? So they're just like, we'll just like, have someone scream and then off camera we'll have them die, cut back to them, and then they're dead, right? So that's kind of what I was expecting from this one.
Absolutely. My first expectation is going to take a little bit more explanation. The rabbits are literally going to just be eyes in the dark. So we can talk about this right now.
Because of the trailer, right?
In the trailer, yeah. And I'm not going to spoil too much of Count Trivia's trivia, but they actually specifically put only eyes in the trailer to like get people to go see the movie and not be completely sure what it was about. But then they sold little rabbit's feet as like a promotional material for this movie.
like little rabbit's feet with like blood on them.
So people were like, oh, okay, well, it's a movie about rabbits.
They're like trying to hide it, but not trying to hide it at the same time. Not doing a very good job at hiding it, I guess.
But my point of bringing this up is it worked on me. I watched the trailer and I was like, oh, okay, so we're not actually going to get any rabbits in this movie. It's just going to be eyes.
Yeah, one of my expectations actually kind of follows that line as well. My next expectation was more holes in this plot than Swiss cheese.
Did you know that... I'm just kidding.
Did you know that Swiss... Derek, let me tell you. Did you know that Swiss cheese was natural, but now it's not? I learned that the other day, and I'm telling you about it. Do you hear me? Did you learn? Sorry, I'm mansplaining. Was it working? Did you learn?
I'm just sad.
That's all mansplaining does. Don't do it. So yeah, more holes in this plot than Swiss cheese.
Pretty bonkers story was my next one. It was one of those things where I was just like, where is this going to go?
What's
happening?
This gonna be? What are we doing? I said several characters introduced to act as rabbit food basically was all I got from that. Like, I feel like what was it? Was it Piranha was the one? The James Cameron one? Was that? Yeah, where it was like, there were a lot of characters introduced to us.
Yeah, there were like 20 characters.
That even had names too, and none of them mattered because they all died. They were just piranha food. Yeah. So I feel like that's going to be the same thing. Like, we'll meet a ton of characters that are completely useless because they're only going to be used to die at some point.
Any effects are just going to be so rough.
Mm-hmm. I said giant rabbits, maybe, because, again, I didn't know anything from the trailer. It did not show us anything of the rabbits. It just showed us those glowing eyeballs and then people running away from stuff. So I assumed, based on what few set photos I saw, like, it looked like the bunnies were trying to be, like, big. They trying to make them look bigger. So that's kind of an expectation of mine.
For sure. Lots of the old screaming off screen with someone rolling around screaming.
See, you get me. You feel me.
Yeah.
And then my final expectation was blood that looks like paint. Yeah. There were a couple moments in the trailer that showed us the blood, and it looked like just like red paint. Nothing bloody about it.
And then finally, just not a lot happening. I was expecting it to be a lot like The Brain, where like there was just a lot of scenes that just repeated over and over and over and over. And nothing really happened.
So, Derek, I think it's time. Let's go see what's happening over in Movie Land and check out Night of the Lepus from 1972.
That's pretty funny.
So we start out with a special news report about bunnies. It's basically just talking about a plague of rabbits that is coming around, is eating all of the crops. It started in Australia, and they're too cute to be a threat, though. There's just a bunch of shots of bunnies running across like a farm field. It's kind of cute, but it's too many rabbits, I guess. You know, oops, all rabbits.
I do want to say something here. I did a bunch of research. There are so many animals in this movie, and I got real worried. So I did do a bunch of research.
There were a couple bits that were pretty scary, you know, where they're putting like bunnies into bags. There's bits where like you see like a hill, and behind the hill there's a fire and a bunch of rabbits jump out over the hill. Like, there was some concern about animal cruelty.
But from what I can tell, there was no animal cruelty in this movie. They were really good with the animals. They were all domesticated rabbits that they were using, and like farmland animals who were trained for this specific purpose.
Yes, exactly.
So as we talk about this, keep that in mind. No animals were actually harmed in the filming.
In fact, we can mention this now. Any scenes that have any violence towards bunnies, they had a pretty hilarious looking costume for people to wear. They had bunny costumes that they put people inside of if there was ever any kind of like person attacking a bunny kind of thing.
And they did have some really silly looking stuffed bunnies as well that were like covered in blood.
There was one shot specifically where they set a bunny on fire, and it is clearly a stuffed rabbit they set on fire and they pulled away with a string.
Yeah. That being said, we will be talking about things that are similar to rabbit cruelty. So keep that in mind if that's a trigger warning.
And horses as well, which you will see in just a second.
What? Horses?
No, high horse. Just build a bunch of boxes till you're too high to hear us. Wow, I didn't know we could build that many. He's still going. Look at hi. Oh no, God, he fell. Is he okay?
I'm great.
Okay.
I have wings.
A Pegasus? High horse Pegasus Palomino? There he goes off into the sunset. Oh no, he's flying too close to the sun. I'm sure he'll be fine.
His first name was Icarus.
Icarus High Horse Palomino Pegasus.
Yep.
Wow. That sounds like it could be your app. Icarus High Horse Pegasus Palomino.
My name is High Horse. I am a Palomino. I am a big horse. I have a hat. I have a cat. I ride all the way to the sunset.
Anyway, so back to the movie. It basically just tells us there's an epidemic of bunnies, right? Because bunnies reproduce very, very quickly. And the only reason it's such a huge issue for people is because they're like eating all of the crops, right? There is such a thing as too many animals and too many cooks in the situation. It messes with the ecosystem. So now we see a cowboy, and we see him on a horse that's got to be a paid actor. The horse
Dude,
like
that horse
trips
is so good.
trips over a bunny hole and is like struggling on its side. And what does this cowboy do? He instantly is like, well, guess you got to go, and he shoots the horse. Goddamn.
Completely unnecessary.
Did not need to happen. Absolutely unnecessary. It doesn't even become pertinent to the plot. Really, all that goes to show us is that there are too many bunnies making a problem in his life. So he's like, cool, got to shoot my horse about it. I really hated that.
It felt like the kind of vibe of like, you see what you made me do, bunnies?
Yeah.
Yeah, feel guilty.
This is all your fault. So now to get some help in his situation, he's meeting with some like scientist man. I don't even know exactly what his position is. He works for some university. He knows what he's doing as far as bunnies go, right?
It just says he's a college president.
College president.
What does that have to do with bunnies?
I don't know. I got nothing for you. So Cowboy, he calls upon this man. So his name is Roy, the science man, and his wife Janet Lee. And Derek, who's Janet Lee? This name sounds familiar to me.
Janet Lee.
Janet Lee, you sound familiar to me.
Janet Lee. She's Marion Crane from Psycho.
What?
She's Kathy Williams in The Fog.
Wow.
She was Vera King in Touched by an Angel.
Wow.
She was in a lot. Everybody knows Janet Lee. We all love Janet Lee.
I want to edit in like those sound effects of like kids saying "Yay" on a TV show.
Oh my god. Yeah.
So
anyway, we love Janet
So
Leigh.
Janet Leigh is here. So now she's here with her husband Roy. He's recording the sounds of bats he caught, and like none of this movie's making sense right now. I don't really understand what he's doing here. So really all that is important is like this is all about some epidemic of rabbits and what to do about them, right? They don't want to use poison because first of all that's inhumane, right? And like they also say poison is bad because then it leads to an increase in like grasshoppers, right? If you kill all of them, then there's just going to be too many grasshoppers, which is also bad for the environment. If you put out poison, it could kill other things in the ecosystem, could kill a bunch of birds, like poison, really bad idea, right? So instead, what they do is they kidnap some. Oh, they don't I suppose they do kidnap. They capture some bunnies, and they start pumping them with hormones. I guess like injecting them with hormones.
That's really all they said. They're like, we're gonna just make it so they're celibate. Right?
Basically, yeah. So keeping them from mating, which again is a more humane way to do this, right?
I was super into like if they're going to. I mean, eventually that's going to cause pretty big population issues, but like if they're going to do it some way, this is a good way to do it.
I'm pretty okay with them. Like it seems like they really want to do this ethically, which I do appreciate from them, but it's really nice of them to do. But then for like a line or two, they mention how the main guy, Roy, he got this like serum or blood or sample of something special that he injects one of them with. And he says, with this stuff, we should be able to inject only one of them, or like maybe, I think he says 10 of them, send them out into the wild and it will spread to hundreds and hundreds of other little bunnies. Right? So like we don't need to inject thousands of bunnies, just these like this group of 10, and they'll go and spread it and we'll be okay.
Just
so it's
giving
like
them a virus.
Okay, sure. Yeah, kind of giving them a healthy virus in a sense. Well, a more helpful for the environment virus, I guess. Every line delivered in this movie sounds the same. Every line is delivered like this, and they say everything exactly like this. It is a very, very bland movie.
It is incredibly bland. It was like the cousin of a really, really bad spaghetti western.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, what do you want to do,
this
partner?
Is rigatoni western.
Rigatoni western. Pretty good.
So they also have a daughter, mind you, Janet Lee and Roy, her husband. They have a daughter. Her name is Amanda. Amanda takes the bunny that they injected. She's like, no, that one's my favorite. And she swaps it with another bunny.
Uh-oh.
So ruining mom and dad's plans, right? So the injected bunny seems to be growing larger. Like that's the first, that was my first inkling that like, okay, I think my suspicion is correct. It is going to become like a large bunny situation, right?
Absolutely.
So now the cowboy back at his ranch is just burning the land instead of poisoning it, trying to run the bunnies away from the thing.
So messed
I'm
up,
mostly
man.
against the humans in this movie. I'm really on the side of the
Humans
bunnies this
suck.
entire movie.
They're awful.
Yeah. So that one bunny that Amanda had swapped gets out and just, like runs its way out into the world. And of course, mom and dad aren't concerned about that because they don't know that the injected bunny has now gone off without their knowing of it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's loose out in the wild now. They start finding random footprints that are quite large, but they don't recognize it. They're like, this doesn't look like a cow or like a wolf. It's looks familiar, but I don't know what it is. It's a large like rabbit footprint, right? So the rabbits are definitely growing. So now Cowboy Jr., who's like I don't even know whose child was this. Was it the main cowboy's son?
I think so. He was so just like out of nowhere.
But yeah, the daughter Amanda makes a friend with this young cowboy, Cowboy Jr., no idea who he is, looking for his friend Billy. They're going into like near this mine shaft, right, where I guess this kid hangs out with his friend Billy. And around there they find more large footprints. And then the daughter Amanda goes into the dark tunnel and she sees giant bunnies eating a man, a bloody mess on like the bunny's mouth and on the bloodied body of this dude. I did find out in the trivia, anytime they had like blood on the bunny's mouths, it was like ketchup. That was what they used.
Oh, really?
To bloody them up.
Oh, that's cute.
Again, like
I don't know why that's cute.
Humane treatment of these bunnies, which I really appreciate. So yeah, she passes out.
That was a nice little snack.
She passes out instantly, and then they send her back home, and she's really concerned, screaming about, like, I saw this giant rabbit. So now all of them are like, this could be a problem. We're unsure. We're not going to release a statement on this yet until we have some evidence on this, right? So skip ahead. Now we have a truck driver, a late night truck driver. He pulls over in the middle of the night and is terrorized by large rabbits all around him. He's just like checking on his cargo in the back of his little semi truck thing, and there's just a bunch of rabbits just like chittering and like making, I don't know, like bunny sounds. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but they're not
a weird sound.
They're not very scary per se. Like it's just kind of, you can tell what they are by when they're all around, right? The music sounds like it's ripped directly from Scooby-Doo.
It really did. It was like Scooby-Doo's adopted nephew. Like
yes, really though. This movie was made by like the cousins and nephews and distant friends of other people who have done successful things. That's true. Really how this one feels. It's just like twice removed from good things. You know what I mean? So then the large bunnies is just like really a close up of shots of like bunnies' mouths and their teeth, which does look a little spooky.
It looked fine.
It's like those. You remember the episode of SpongeBob where they're taking care of that butterfly?
Oh, gross.
And they make it scary by playing the sound of like buzzing and then getting really up close on the butterfly's face, because like that's scary. I'll admit that does look pretty spooky. Yeah. So similar situation, you get up close enough to it, it can look kind of scary. But the bunnies are still not that terrifying. But they attack the man in a hilarious bit. He like gets jumped by a bunny and basically does this like discount Wilhelm scream.
Oh, it is so good.
It's hilarious. I loved it. There it is. Did you hear that?
So good. And again.
It's hilarious. It was too good. So in the next morning, the man is just lacerated. He's actually just a bloody mess of like body parts, not necessarily gruesome, but like so much more than I thought these bunnies would be doing. Right? The police are confused about how could a body have been cut this way? Like what could have done this? And then like there's another scene following where like a man, a woman, and 2 children were also brutally massacred nearby. It's becoming a problem. They don't really show a lot of them. It's mostly just like their limp bodies on a set and like they're covered in like that bloody paint looking stuff.
Yeah.
The coroner says the only thing that could do something like this would be like a saber-toothed tiger, basically. So what I've dubbed as the A team is basically just like the team of like the cowboy, the scientist, his wife Janet Leigh, one other guy I can't really remember. They're all looking into the potential of like large rabbits roaming the land, right? Because they're pretty well aware, like, oh shoot, maybe the thing we injected them with might have been a bad thing. We're making large rabbits, right? Mm-hmm. Which also apparently is making like not cannibalistic, but like carnivorous rabbits, right? Yeah. Because like rabbits don't eat meat. They don't eat people, and now they are. So I guess something about them growing large also makes them man-eating. Don't really know how it works there. But so they're looking into these large rabbits. They're ready to use dynamite, cyanide, like anything that can help to kill them. So they return to the tunnel that Amanda saw with the dead body inside of it, right, where the giant rabbits were. There are more footprints inside. Shocking, right? Of course, this is where they are. And they're just going to blow this damn tunnel up. Like, do they have a permit for just like blowing up a mine shaft?
I'm still confused on where they're getting any like permission.
Yeah, exactly.
Or anything.
It's the 70s. You can do whatever you want, baby. It's like jazz. It's freeform.
Apparently.
Dynamite was freeform back in the 70s. People were doing crazy things with dynamite.
Oh my God, you're right.
So they drop this microphone into a large hole. It looks like a rabbit hole, but bigger, right? And they just hear large rabbit noises, basically. Just imagine the sound of a rabbit and then make it big.
And then there was like this
there was almost like this almost like a helicopter propeller sound underneath it too. Sound. It was a super weird sound. And so they're looking to maybe come back with some evidence from this too, either a DNA sample or at least like a picture of this. And all of this is taking too long. It has taken them like 20 minutes to set up just like getting everything set in this mine shaft, right?
Yeah.
And the sound of bunnies is still too cute to be taken as a scary threat. I'm still not feeling any like scare level, fear factor from these bunnies. Are you? Like
it wasn't scary.
No, it wasn't.
Well, okay, so now we start seeing the best part of the movie though, which is they've built all of these miniature sets.
This is where the movie starts getting somewhere
to run through. So we have like preceding this is like 30 shots of all of these bunnies running through this little mine shaft to make it look huge. And it is the cutest thing in the world.
Honestly, though, because like, so they go into the tunnel, they see them like, they're as big as wolves and just as vicious. And so they start running out of the mine shaft. So it's shots of them running and then followed by shots of bunnies just prancing through a
They're
set.
and they like kind of put them in slow motion.
They put them in slightly slow-mo, yeah.
So that it's like, okay, these are huge bunnies.
Yes.
But they just looked like big, like normal bunnies.
They just looked like they were having a good time, just frolicking and hopping through these miniature sets.
They were just trying to get some leaves.
Kind of
having a
adorable.
snack. It was so cute.
I really liked it, honestly. But so they get attacked by definitely people in bunny costumes. It was a really, really funny moment.
Oh, yeah.
And this is just like, it's such a mixture of like bunny on top of camera to make them look bigger. It's man in bunny costume and then close-ups of bunny mouths mixed with like ketchup blood. So they get out of the tunnel and then kaboom, they bring the whole mine toppling down onto the rabbits. Problem solved, right? That should be the end of it, right? It is kind of sad. We see a bunch of bunnies like get a bunch of dirt like crumbled onto them and stuff like, oh no, the bunnies.
No, the bunnies. But it was like so obviously like, I did appreciate this, that it was obvious that the rocks weren't falling on the bunnies.
Again, like the bunnies were safe.
They were completely fine.
Yes.
I do want to mention something here. Emily wanted me to mention this. The guy who plays Elgin, who I don't think we even wrote his name down ever.
He's
I had to
one
look
of the
it
guys.
up.
He's like, it's like there's
like
the cowboy, there's the scientist, then there's Elgin. He's the third guy.
So he is played by DeForest Kelley, who is very well known for being Dr. McCoy in Star Trek for forever. So if you're familiar with Star Trek, it was really weird to see him in this movie.
Yeah, it's
he did not belong.
That's the funny
He's
thing
standing
about
out like a sore thumb.
It's kind of the funny thing about watching these like so-called bad horror movies where it's like you see actors you know in things and really like in things, and it's like, what are you doing here?
Why are you here?
Liam Neeson, what are you doing in this movie?
Exactly.
That exact same vibe. So they feel the facts have to be made public about these monstrous rabbits, right? Like they can't keep this a secret anymore.
Yeah.
And what's that? The bunnies live.
Oh,
they
no!
are risen. They rise from the rubble of the mine.
There you go. That's why.
And there
we
you
could
go.
watch this movie
That's
for
this is
Easter.
your Easter movie. This is your Easter viewing. And they're just running loose on the world, terrorizing horses and farms and all that kind of stuff. And these miniature sets just bring me so much joy. I'm really,
cute.
really loving watching bunnies run through these little sets.
There are so many of them,
There's
and they're
a
all
ton.
pretty well made.
I was actually, I really thought it was going to stop at like, the mine shafts. They were going to be really simple. They got kind of complex as the
really
movie progressed,
did.
and they were getting into other areas.
And they would like take shots from like inside of a room and take it to the miniature version, and it was pretty close.
It worked out, honestly.
Like, it was
really,
very
really well.
very like not obvious.
Yes, these bunnies are funny and they're cute. They are not scary at all, unfortunately.
Nothing is scary about this movie.
They do, however, maim like a herd of horses, which is kind of sad.
I mean, yeah, the scariest thing about this movie was the potential animal cruelty that could have happened. But
they really just got like 1,000 shots of rabbits running through little sets and setting it in slow motion. I think that's just going to be the rest of the movie, is what I wrote right there.
Kind of was.
So anytime these bunnies get shot, they just have like a splash of blood on them. They get like little like paint packets onto them, and that's really it. So again, it seems like they're all completely safe. They just have like these gushers explode underneath the bunnies.
It's kind of cute.
It's kind of cute. I just wrote, what's Tension? Who is she? This movie has never heard of her. The people, like the A-Team, they hide in a basement of a house and just shoot above them where there's bunnies. This is probably one of my favorite sets. It's a little mini house with like 6 big bunnies just chilling inside of it.
But this is the one I was talking about. Like the inside of the house is very like, there are specific things about a house, right?
Yes.
And then when you go to the miniature one, it was pretty convincing.
All the details were pretty good. Like they actually put a lot of work into the miniature set work, which I really appreciated, honestly.
Great.
So now the bunnies have made their way into the city, and it's still like, it's a very rural town to begin with, and so this also has the same rural rustic vibe in the city. There are 2 good things about this movie. It is the miniatures and it is the music. These are the most fun parts about this right now.
And a bunny.
And some of these kills are actually a little violent. Like there's a part here where it's at like the general store. There's a lady in front of a window or like a door, and the rabbits just smash through the window and like slice the throat of this poor woman.
Yeah.
But really, she just screams and then has blood paint on her neck in like the next shot. You don't actually see her actually die. It's just like the nature of that kill was a little more violent than I was expecting.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then now it's daytime, and we all know bunnies cannot hunt in the daytime.
Everybody knows this.
Everybody knows it.
Standard knowledge.
It's Bunny 101. They teach you this in 1st grade.
Bunnies
everybody.
are nocturnal, dog.
Bunnies are nocturnal dogs. Bunnies are nocturnal dogs. Sometimes this movie has pacing like molasses, and other times it clips fast as Lightning McQueen. Lightning McQueen. Like, I don't understand how it can do both of these. I feel like there were honestly some parts of the movie where it's like, all right, well, I think we should better go do this thing. And now we're doing this thing. Like, it immediately clips along to the next thing. Like, there's no time in between. And other times, it is so slow, it takes the rest of its life. Hello? Hello?
Hey, it's me, Science Jim.
Science, you have not knocked to come on in a minute.
I thought I'd give it a try.
Did you finish laying all those eggs and now you're back? So out of your mouth too. Okay, I'm gonna write
this
that
one
down.
has a little note on it. It says,
what's in there?
Bunnies
Dinner
aren't...
reservations for...
Oh.
No, that's a different one. Maybe
Shit.
come up with another one.
This one says, bunnies are not nocturnal, they are not diurnal, they are crepuscular.
Mm-hmm.
One more time. They're crepuscular. Which
Say it with us, folks at home.
Crepuscular.
The word of the day is crepuscular.
That means that they're most active during dusk and dawn. So,
Oh, okay.
anyway, I think I'll go.
Oh, okay. You got more eggs to lay, huh? There's still a busy work day here on Easter.
Oh, I'm so tired.
Oh, gosh. Well, thank you for that. So, yes, now it's daytime. Bunnies cannot hunt in the daytime, at least according to this movie. Janet Leigh and her little daughter are trying to run away to the safety of, like, their cabin or something, but their car gets stuck in some dirt. Their, like, RV car thing gets stuck in some dirt. And then we just kind of leave them. And it's like,
Yeah, they're cool.
yeah, no, they're like, oh, dang, our car is stuck. Guess we'll have to figure this out. Then the movie continues until it comes back to it later. Meanwhile, Cowboy sees the town general store is a massacre of bodies. What can they do at this point? I don't understand. They have nothing at their disposal, nothing that can help them. The bunny population is rapidly increasing, as bunnies are wont to do. So, like, how are they going to fix this? Oh, I know. Time to contact the National Guard.
Well, of course.
And, like,
This next part with the National Guard coming into town felt like stock footage
Yes.
of like an army entering a town.
there's actually a reason for that. It's because they did not have the budget to make a large scale like scene and set with the army in it.
Oh.
So because of a lack of budget, they swapped to doing, there's a scene here where it's like bunnies versus the National Guard, right? They made miniatures of the National Guard, used that in the place of big ones because they didn't have the budget for it.
That's adorable.
And that's kind of funny, right?
I love that.
But it's feeling pretty dismal for our disappointing team of humans, in all honesty. But the National Guard is rolling in just as the sun sets, so it's time for rabbits to hunt again.
Oh, no.
And it's just, I wish there was more to say, but it's just more shots of rabbits running through their little sets, same as it ever was. I still have no idea what their plan is. This town is a mess. The only inkling I can get of their plan is they want to make like a big electrical fence to stop them. They want to try to herd the bunnies into this one specific area and then electrocute them to stop them, right? Something involving a train. I'm honestly feeling pretty lost here, and I felt pretty lost the entire movie.
Well, they were kind of talking in circles almost.
Yeah.
It was almost like getting hypnotized by like their dialogue and the bunnies.
Yes.
Like I would like hear what they were saying, but then I would like see the bunnies and the miniatures and I would forget everything I had just
Exactly.
heard. It was really hard to follow.
And so what's their idea? They're going to use big metal sheepdogs, basically, because they go to the drive-in movie theater, take all the teens and kids who are having a good time at the movie, watching Tom and Jerry on the movie screen, by the way.
you not do that?
It's an interesting thing to be watching at a drive-in movie. But so they take all the people, get them in their cars, and use them to like corral the bunnies towards their electrical fence, right? And so remember Janet Leigh and her daughter Amanda? Well, they're in trouble now.
Well,
So-
obviously.
Yeah. So Janet Leigh puts her daughter in the car. She's like, no, don't worry, honey. I got this. There's like 20 giant bunnies circling her. And all she does is take like some flares from her glove box and like, this is the part where the bunny's on fire. She actually throws one at a bunny and then it catches fire. The stuffed bunny situation there, right?
This little miniature RV though looked so good.
It did. It was another one.
looked
Like it had
so
lights
good.
On as the headlights. It actually, another one of the sets that was actually pretty impressive. I really liked the work that they put into this.
It was awesome.
So yeah, she throws it at a bunny. It catches fire. She's completely surrounded, but it's okay. Daddy shows up in a helicopter and scares them all off.
Yeah.
And so, bunnies chase a herd of cows too for some reason. There's like more like, it felt like stock
it
footage
was 100% stock
of them just chasing a herd of cows running away from something.
stock cattle footage.
I just wanted to mention it because it looked kind of funny.
It looked so silly.
And so now it seems like the plan is taking action. I think it took a very long time for us to get to this point here. So they herd them all in with like cars and with bullets towards their big bad electrical fence. They're also using like flamethrowers. It's a little brutal towards bunnies. Like it's kind of sad. And then I literally wrote, oh, I get it now. They're using the railroad lines charged up with power as like a makeshift electrical fence, right? Because you can charge those power lines. I kind of understand, right? And this bit is just like this cacophony, this absolute mess of shocking bunnies and gunshots. And against all odds, somehow this plan has appeared to work. And I did note in the trivia as well, this scene where it's like just several different shots of the bunnies getting electrocuted. It's a mixture of like blue electricity being put onto the bunnies to making them look shocked and them hopping away. And also they superimposed over the top of it a string of firecrackers that was exploding.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's actually fun.
So that's kind
curious.
of how that works.
It was pretty obvious they just had like a bunch of images of the bunnies jumping.
Yeah.
And then like just superimpose something over it.
And it's just a sea of dead rabbit bodies. But don't worry, everybody. All rabbits go to heaven. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
So fast forward, looks like nature is back in order. Any rabbits that are seen are all like normal sized pretty much. The final shot is just some random bunny in a field, close up on it, and then the roll credits. No cliffhanger ending, hinting at a sequel. No, nothing like that.
They like kind of talk at a football field about how the bunnies are like normal.
Yeah.
They're like normal again.
They're like, yeah, but they're nothing like they used to be, is what he says.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. Thank you, cowboy.
So in this movie, it was impossible to count all the kills.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I went to Carnage Count, who's a YouTube channel, and according to them, there are 8 human deaths and 258 animal deaths.
Wow,
on screen.
I don't know how you managed to get that number, Carnage Count, but like kudos to you. Because
I mean, you can
that's
watch
super
the video;
impressive.
they count them on screen.
God, that's insane.
It's
That's
insane.
a lot. That's a lot of work that goes into that.
Yeah.
So, should we talk about our expectations? How we ended
Let's
up
do
on
it.
this one? For my results on this one, I said screaming and deaths off screen, and shockingly, there were some, albeit horrible, deaths that happened on screen, but you never really saw the killing blow on screen. Just like either the before or the after of the kill, right?
Yeah.
You.
The rabbits are literally going to be eyes in the dark. I mean, no.
No.
They were the best part of the movie.
Right.
The marketing got me. The marketing tricked me.
Yeah, exactly. Which, they kind of duped you right there. But also, we watched this movie for the bunnies, so we knew they were going to be there, I guess. I said more
I didn't
holes in this. Yeah. I said more holes in this plot than Swiss cheese. And it's hard for me to even claim there were holes in the plot because it was so incredibly hard to follow. Both because it was confusing in its story and also had the inability to keep me very engaged, besides like the cute bunnies that were hypnotizing me the whole time.
I mean, I basically had the same one. Pretty bonkers story. I mean, what story?
Yeah.
Really? There was like 10 minutes of story and the rest was just bunnies being cute.
Could have easily been a short film, no problem,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
I said there were going to be several characters introduced to act as rabbit food, and that's really all anyone was. Like, any named character could easily be assumed they would die in a few scenes at the hands of the giant rabbits.
Absolutely. Any effects will just be rough. They were like, any effects in this movie were super campy and just fun
Yeah.
to me. Like, I had so much fun.
I actually
with
really
these.
enjoyed them.
Specifically, there was an effect where they were like looking in one of the rabbit holes, and there was like this picture that was superimposed over the top of it of the
Yes.
outside of the cave.
I don't know
hole.
why could they really not have dug a hole and put a camera up through it pointing
No,
to
man.
them? I guess not.
It felt like someone was
Holes
like
is
using,
expensive.
It felt like someone was using their new Zoom background, and it was like
Yes.
a big border around it of just like a cave, and they were
Absolutely.
like dropping things into the hole. It was just so funny. Like
Yeah.
it was just fun.
Really? I said giant rabbits, maybe, and the only reason I was not certain this would be the plot is because all the marketing intentionally hid any of that from us, right?
Yeah.
The trailer just said, Night of the Lepus, over and over without actually showing the Lepus. So, like, that was
Absolutely.
an assumption just because of that.
And then going off your first expectation, lots of screaming off screen with someone rolling around screaming. Yeah, it actually happened quite a bit.
That's all the kills
It was
were.
really, really fun to see the people dressed as rabbits.
That was funny.
Bunnies like smacking.
But all of those were really quick, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
they brought a lot. They tickled me a bit.
Yeah, they were good.
I said my final one was blood that looks like paint, and it looks like paint, it dripped like paint, smeared like paint. It must be paint.
Must be paint.
If it had been a darker shade of red, it may have been more believable. But since we were dealing with really cute bunnies, like I don't think I wanted to see them with realistic blood. Like that
No.
would have been eh.
Just not a lot happening. Will be boring. Not a lot happened, but I was actually pretty enthralled by everything happening.
Yeah.
So it didn't bore me.
Yeah, somehow. Surprises for this one, shall we? My first surprise was the amount of blood they had the bodies covered in was actually pretty shocking. Like, still not gruesome by any means, but it was a lot. Like,
Yeah.
and there was really no makeup effects with like any gore or slashes or anything like that. Just people covered in blood. Like, there was a scene where a man is attacked pretty gruesomely by a bunny. He gets saved by Janet Leigh, and then he's there in the next shot, and he's no scratches, no nothing. He's just covered in blood.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird. I said absolutely the best part of this film, and maybe it's one true redeeming factor, was the miniature sets they had built for the bunnies to frolic in. It started pretty minimal with the mineshaft tunnels, but then went into more complex sets with miniature buildings and cars with lights and pools of water for them to prance in. Like 10 out of 10 as far as that goes.
Absolutely.
And I said just the pure madness of that last scene where all the bunnies got shocked to their death. The
was
plan was
bonkers.
not foolproof, yet somehow it came together in a wild display of flashy electricity effects. And then finally, I just said the music was kind of fun throughout too. I like the music there.
Yeah, for sure.
What were your surprises?
The miniature bunny sets, man. I cannot get over these miniature bunny sets.
Really?
They
I
just
love
worked
them.
so well for me. The bunnies themselves,
Yes.
they were so cute. They were so fun. I
Wonderful.
loved seeing them.
And it makes it more enjoyable knowing they were not harmed, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. That was like pretty much the only thing that kept me watching.
Oh, definitely.
On the other side of that was the sheer amount of animal death in this movie was shocking.
Wow.
It was
Yeah, what, 258?
shocking.
Was that it?
Yeah, it's too much.
Lord.
Too much.
200 too many.
And then finally, the dead bodies, man. They looked whack.
Yeah,
it was,
a little
it was,
bit.
they didn't look good.
yeah.
They just looked whack.
Whack
Like
is
it was
the best
just,
way to describe it.
Yeah.
So verdict time.
Yeah.
So Derek, I've come up with a new score for this one because I was really back and forth on how to do this one.
Yeah.
So get ready for that was adorable.
Oh, that's good.
Never had this one. I can
fun.
understand what makes it so this movie can be classified as a horror movie. You know, like who wouldn't be afraid of giant man-eating rabbits taking over your little town, right?
Yeah.
Like that is a scary situation. But this movie failed to capture any kind of fear factor simply due to the adorableness of their fuzzy little actors. Like
I love that.
This movie was 80% shots of hundreds of bunnies running through a miniature town, and 100% of those scenes were like too adorable to fear anything like that. So if you're on the hunt for a prized Easter egg of great horror, keep hunting. But it is still funny to watch and just enjoyable for those
Absolutely.
little bunnies.
And for me, that was horrible, actually.
All right.
Night of the Lepus takes itself way too serious, and that's actually why it's fun. The effects are terrible, the acting's stale, and the plot is silly, but watching herds of rabbits running through miniature sets is one of the greatest things I've ever seen while doing this podcast. I had a hopping good time with this one. If you're looking for a horrible movie to watch this Easter, search no further than Night of the Lepus.
Absolutely. Hop, 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 hop.
Oh,
Hey,
man, you're
everybody. What is happening? It is me, Count Trivia.
up,
What is happening, eh? Is that pretty good? Blah, blah. Yes.
Bing.
Puny the Bunny, you told me that was going to kill. You said that was going to destroy. They're still alive. Nothing has changed. I was hoping that joke would kill you. Honestly, I was. Really? Well, yeah, you know, you won't let me. By law, by my contract, I cannot suck your blood, blah, blah. So I thought maybe I'd try another way to do it. But here's your trivia. Forget about the murder attempt, and happy Easter.
Bye, bud. Love you.
So the trivia for this one, in the scenes where the rabbits are ferociously roaring, they are actually just yawning, which is really cute. So yeah, it's like, what was it that we watched recently where there were dogs that were chasing? I think it was Underworld.
Oh, yeah.
Where they were getting chased away by dogs. It's like the dogs like had their tails up, they were wagging,
they
them,
were
looking
really
super
cute.
happy. They had to like put the sounds of like angry dogs on top of it because
Yeah,
they were
yeah,
just
yeah.
having a good time. The dogs are so like it's cute to know. Like they weren't
I love
upset.
that.
They were
They
just
were having
yawning.
a good time.
Janet Leigh of Psycho fame refused to allow her two teenage daughters, Kelly Curtis and Jamie Lee Curtis, to appear in this movie in minor roles. She did not want them to be part of or see a horror film. Is that insane?
That's crazy because Jamie Lee Curtis is
Exactly. Ironically, Jamie Lee Curtis broke out as a scream queen because of her role in Halloween.
yeah,
and like
she's,
that's
like made her career.
one of
off
her
horror
big,
movies.
like the biggest thing for her, right?
Which is, I mean, it's fitting because her mom broke out at Psycho.
Yeah,
So it's
exactly.
like it works.
Maybe who knows if she had a bad time. I don't know. So posters and trailers for this movie did not feature any rabbits. Marketers feared that the audiences would not take the movie seriously if they found out about the giant killer rabbits too quickly. And I can understand that because
Yeah, me too.
unfortunately they were still super cute even after watching the movie. So I can understand why they would not want to put them in the marketing for this. But
Yeah, I
it's
get
still
it.
kind of interesting. In an interview with film historian Tom Weaver, Janet Leigh said she took the starring role because it was shot near her home and meant less time away from her family.
Aw.
She also said, I've forgotten as much as I could about that picture.
I mean, she was barely in it.
Yeah. Among the many problems the rabbit wranglers faced, rabbits are naturally docile creatures, though they will bite humans if annoyed.
Oh, no.
Their two favorite pastimes are nibbling on vegetables and mating. The film started with 24 rabbits, which ballooned to nearly 100 by the time the
Whoa.
stampede sequences were filmed.
Incredible.
That's insane. Like from 24 to 100, insane. The film was originally entitled Night of the Lepus, actually, about
me?
zombie-like lepers and a mass plague,
What?
riffing off the success of Night of the Living Dead from 1968. Unfortunately, the MGM executive who first read the script was eating dinner and spilled wine on it, confusing leper with lepus, which is wild. Who knows the word
What?
lepus off the top of their head?
What the hell?
So when he joked to his teenage daughter about a film with killer rabbits, she loved the idea. So the scriptwriter was then commissioned to heavily edit the plot, which is probably why it has very little to do with that one book then, right?
What?
Yeah. So that's how we ended up with Night of the Lepus instead of Night of the Lepus. So we could have just had another zombie movie. Instead, we got this funny little frolicky, hoppy joy.
Oh my God.
So that's that. Thank you, everybody, for happy
thank you.
Easter to you all.
Easter.
Derek, we have our next movie selected, right?
Yeah, we do.
So remember how this year we had that movie Imaginary come out, which was rated poor enough for us to watch on this podcast? We are finally going to watch it. So we are going to watch Imaginary from 2024 with a 24%. And I kind of want to start doing this. Let's give them the synopsis for this movie coming up. Just like get you excited about what's coming up. So for Imaginary 2024, when Jessica moves back into her childhood home with her family, her youngest stepdaughter, Alice, finds a stuffed bear named Chauncey. As Alice's behavior becomes more and more concerning, Jessica intervenes only to realize that Chauncey is much more than the stuffed toy bear she believed him to be.
Incredible.
So, we'll have a good time telling you all about this ravenous-looking teddy bear. There's some fun effects in this one. I wanted this one to be better, personally.
I wanted it to be good. I was kind of hyped for it.
I'm sad it's sitting all the way down to the 24%.
We'll see. We have a decent expectation going in, so maybe we'll end up liking
and maybe it'll be a fun time, you know. I mean, like that's the whole purpose of it. But that is our mission here, is to like go through and tell you guys maybe these ones actually are not so terrible. Maybe you can have some fun watching this one, you know. And we had fun watching Night of the Lepus.
Somehow,
even if it wasn't like a fantastic movie, we had fun. We have lots of fun. Keep up with us in all of our fun, please, and our social medias here. We have Instagram at @that_was_horrible, Twitter at TWH Podcast, Facebook at That Was Horrible Podcast, YouTube at That Was Horrible, and TikTok at That Wash Horrible. Thank you as always for joining us on our little horror spot here and listening to our wonderful pitch for our Tangler movie series. We're gonna go out and write all of those actually now.
I'm gonna get a writer. We're gonna get Emily on that. She's gonna write it.
She's a great writer. We're gonna hop out of here and get to writing the scripts for all of our Tangler movies.
Garfield be with you.
In the meantime, Garfield be with you, and stay spooky.
Goodbye.